Hi, welcome back to Do Fix Differently. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about process and why is process important if you don't have very much going on in terms of customer onboarding at any point in time. But before I get into the detail, I do just want to remind you, if you're interested in this type of content that we're putting out, please do head over to our YouTube channel. Please do click subscribe, hit the notification button, and tell us if there's any sort of topics you'd really like us to cover. Kind of rush to the punchline, yes, of course, process is very, very important. Even if you don't have an active customer onboarding program at this particular moment in time, mostly because you probably expect that at some point in the future, you will start to have a customer onboarding process, or you will have a recertification project to go under. The thing that you should really think about is how do you use this downtime now, this natural trough, to build for the future and make it easier for yourself, right? In some ways, using this time is even more important for a couple of reasons. Number one is if you don't actually onboard customers all that frequently, then actually use muscle memory, which means that you're not doing it every single day, and maybe you've experienced this yourself. When you do finally get a new customer that you need to onboard, you end up scratching your head saying, well, how am I supposed to onboard this customer? Let me go to my wiki page where I wrote down the process. And if you've ever gone through that, you'll probably realize, I wish I'd actually improved my process before so that I can remind myself. So part of this is about you, but it's also about taking on new colleagues. So if you have a new colleague who joins your team and there are no onboards for them to actually complete to get the practice that they need to be able to onboard into your API, it becomes quite difficult, right? And in that situation, having a process that's accurate and up to date that they can look at and read and understand, that's really important as well. So it is really, really important for you to invest in your process now, get it well documented. So really my key message is this: do not waste this opportunity. If you have a lull generally in your Fix onboarding pace, now is a great time to invest in your process. And what I'd say is you need to think about a slightly wider picture of connectivity. It isn't just about Fix connectivity. It is a wider program that you should be considering at this moment. So you should focus on things like understanding your customers more. What is it that they're actually doing? What is it that they're doing in production at this point in time? Have you done a gap analysis to work out what functionality they are not using today in production? And is there a way to try to upgrade them or promote those missing pieces of functionality to get them trading more inside of your business? There's always this great sales mantra that says it's much easier to upgrade an existing customer than it is to win a new one. Exactly the same situation exists in Fix connectivity. Think about what functionality people aren't using today, see if there's a good reason for that, and see if there's a way of nudging them towards adopting that new functionality and growing your liquidity that way. Similarly, you should be thinking about whether they're on the best connectivity solution. This is not an area that we typically talk about, but it is really, really important in a wider vision of connectivity. When customers come on for the very, very first time, typically there's a conversation about, well, how do we connect to you? Is it through, I don't know, the NiFix network? Is it through other networks, IPC or Radiance or something like that? And typically there's a variety of options that people could actually choose. And as part of that initial onboard, we just choose one, and that's the one that eventually gets set in stone. Now, we see people who say, well, this customer started out being a profitable customer for us, but actually over time they become an unprofitable customer for us. And one of the main costs that people actually face, or brokers at least face, in terms of supporting customers is the fact that they are paying for that connectivity. So they're paying for the BT Radiance line, for example, for an individual customer. And if the customer stops trading quite so frequently, the cost of the BT line costs more than the revenue that they're actually earning from that particular customer. There's a great way of turning an unprofitable customer into a profitable customer, and that is to review the connectivity process. If you can manage to switch that customer over to either a smaller line or a cheaper provider perhaps, or even going over the internet if it really is dropped off, then you're going to take down the cost of servicing that customer and therefore flip them from being unprofitable into a profitable customer. So this is a really good time to look at your connectivity estate. start to understand, is there a better or cheaper way that we can organize this, move people over to those new network layer, and hopefully reduce your costs. The other thing that I would recommend that you do during this lull is to think about all of the other activities that you've naturally pushed off. Our big drive is always about getting your specifications done well. Make sure that they are clean, they are accurate and up to date. Make sure that they contain examples. Make sure they contain workflow diagrams. All of these things that you normally just push off because you simply don't have the time to do it. Now is a great time to be doing that. Put in that investment right now, so that the next release that you have, you're in a much better position to come out fighting strongly. So I hope this helps. There's a number of different things that you could be doing and should be doing if you face a natural drop in the number of customer onboards that you actually are taking on. Do not waste this opportunity. Use the time wisely to invest in your future process and make sure that your next onboard, when it comes, is going to be even better. Hope this helps. For more videos like this, please do check out our YouTube channel, subscribe, click the notification button. Hopefully I'll see you in the next Do Fix Differently video.